What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show. Well, the one that people have been looking at as like, okay, where's the intelliness on this is the whole Diddy thing. So I even had Trap Lord Ross in here, who's like the preeminent hip hop historian, documentarian on YouTube. Just eats, sleeps and breathes this shit. But he obviously is in the process of reviewing all the civil lawsuits that have occurred. We don't have indictments yet on Diddy, but if you read the civil lawsuits and if even half of that's true, it's horrible and it's a mess. And when you look at his history, we don't have to go through the whole thing, but he was suddenly, out of nowhere, powerful at age 23 in charge of what became the biggest rap label in America, like very quickly. So, and there's questions about the people who got him in there and everything. But, when you look at a guy who I personally view as, if it had an intel angle, he was a useful idiot rather than, because, I mean, he's not the brightest bulb. Let's just be honest here, right? Like, if you look at a guy who maybe as a useful idiot had fucking 100 cameras in every room, cameras in the pens and stuff, very Epstein-y, if you will. Could you see why people out there are saying this has to be some sort of, I don't know who, but some sort of government-backed op?
P. Diddy had more money than you can get the government to give for any kind of op. So
not before he was put into power, though.
The whole idea of him being put into power is kind of a silly conspiracy on its own.
Why? He wasn't smart. He had really proven nothing in the industry and suddenly was in charge of Bad Boy Records, biggest thing ever.
So I don't.
And his star was gunned down within 3 years. His key moneymaker was gunned down in 3 years.
I don't know the answer, man. I don't keep up closely with anything in pop culture. But here's what I'm saying. If Intel was going to be, if CIA was going to be involved, it wouldn't be involved in a domestic, unknown, unproven rapper in the 90s, 80s?
I didn't say
when did
CIA,
it all start?
By the way. I want to be clear about that.
Whoever, right? If U.S. government was going to somehow get funding, you think it's foreign government?
I think it could be.
If any government was going to try to build influence, it wouldn't try with what you just painted to be quite a loser, right? It wouldn't start with somebody who's unproven, who's got no skills, no background, no connections, and then try to build that person up. That's not how it works. That's not how any good op works. You find somebody who's already on the rise. You find somebody who's already established. Like, you don't bet on a losing horse, especially not with big, big money, in the hopes that 15, 30 years from now, it's going to pay off in some sort of intelligence world.
What if he's the in, though? And it's more the people around him are the people who are maybe more reliable, but he's the in because he's the face of it. Again, the useful idiot is how
That's an access agent. What you're talking about is an access agent. A useful idiot is somebody like fucking, what's his name, that did the interview with Putin?
Tucker?
Tucker Carlson. That's
He's a useful idiot?
Oh, that whole interview he had with Putin. All that interview did was take Vladimir Putin and give him a pedestal with the entire conservative part of the United States. And Putin could sit there and say whatever he wanted to say, and he could look strong, and he could look eloquent, and he could look intelligent, and he could look confident. He could choose what the talking points were that he talked about, and he had a voice to the entire conservative nation. That was a brilliant move on Putin's part.
Are you saying Tucker lost the moment he walked into the room?
100%. The moment he showed up, he lost. And then if you want to have a fucking phenomenal conversation, we should just take that whole interview play by play and disassemble it. It's all one giant, powerful influence campaign.
Putin's a master, man.
He's awesome to watch.
You can't argue that.
He's awesome to watch and just incredibly skilled. So Carlson was the avenue by which Putin could get to the Republican or the conservative base of the United States. That makes Tucker the useful idiot.
I see what you're saying.
That's what a useful idiot. An access agent is more of what you're talking about. Somebody who has a connection with people, and if you want the connection that they have, you have to go through them to get the introduction. But once you get the introduction, you kind of cut them out.
So you think that, and this could be a perfectly fair opinion, by the way, because I don't fucking know, but if you were looking at it, you would say Diddy's more of just a sick fuck.
I mean,
It's a more likely scenario.
I think there are a lot more sick fucks out there than people realize.
I would agree with you there.
And the more money you get, and the more confidence, the more fame, the more fan base that you get, the easier it is to execute on your sick interests, because you have the money to cover it up. You have a line of people who are willing to experiment with you. You have more connections with more people who are wealthy like you. And guess what? They all have too. Their own sick interests.
Yeah.
Like, this is just human nature. It's
So blackmail would be human nature as a part of that too? It could be.
Yeah, I mean, that just, you got, human beings are fucking horrible creatures.
I knew it was coming.
It's what we are, right? When we were kids, what did we do when we found an insect? You pull off its legs, you pull out its wings, you burn it with a magnifying glass, unless he's nodding his head. It's what you fucking do.
I didn't do these things. I just want to be really clear.
Would you like to verbalize the sick things that were unique to you? Because you can share those if you like, I'm sure. Are you one of the people
pulling off animal legs and
Are you
shit?
one of the people that looks at your own poop? Is that what you are? Are you one of the people
I've looked at my own shit before.
Are you one of the people that maybe smells your toenail clippings? Are you one of those people?
They have a smell?
Just people have weird tendencies that you could not imagine. There's stuff that makes it so that, like, the guy, like, dude, just look at how many varieties of there are, and it gives you an idea of how and that's only sexual, and they're not even perversions. Those are just a variety of sexual interests. We're not even in like sexual perversions or illegal sexual perversions, and that's all within the realm of sex, not the realm of pain or the realm of deception or the realm of physical abuse. Like, you can imagine how much sickness there is when it comes to the way that human beings find things curious, because that's what we're really talking about, is just curiosities that are labeled to be sick because we live in a world of right and wrong.
Right.
So do I think that it's more likely that some foreign government identified a 23-year-old black hip-hop artist who was in charge of a label that was failing and turned him into a powerhouse artist who became
executive, but
so powerful or whatever else, right? Do I believe that? Or do I believe that somebody just worked their ass off, climbed the chain, and then as they had more and more success, to deal with the stress of their success, they leaned into their own curiosities as escape mechanisms to cope with the stress that they were carrying, and funded those stress coping mechanisms with the profit that they were generating.
Okay. All right, I'm going to have a question on this. I want to say this, though, because it's worth saying, because I think it's part of what drives my antenna going up on this. There was someone who made a comment to me. God, this was like 9-10 years ago. Not the kind of person you'd ever expect to be hanging out with Diddy, put it that way. And he would definitely tell you he went out of his way not to do that. And the reason I say that is because he very offhand said something along the lines of, if you get invited to a Diddy party, you don't go. And I didn't think anything. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, because I always thought he was a bad dude, right? I always thought that. I didn't know what this fucking lawsuit was going to show me. I didn't have any inkling of that. Maybe I should have if I listened to the comment, but just the way that this guy, and knowing who he is and how he said it, in hindsight, it's fucking sinister. And it makes me think about it, because like you've given some really good breakdowns before of possibilities with like an Epstein or someone like that. And you've also mentioned very correctly that, like, yeah, you know about Epstein, there's all kinds of fucking people like this around the world. This is just unfortunately, it's an ugly world and shit like this happens. But now putting the term you just taught me on it, I think maybe you had said this before and I just kind of missed it. But like, you've said he may have been a good access information agent because he had access to information on extremely powerful people that different governments around the world could have said highest bidder, and we want the info on it. Do you think that's not a possibility with Diddy?
Oh, no, I think it's absolutely a possibility.
Okay.
But here's the thing. That's not unique to Diddy.
Oh, I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what, to me, the thing that's important to understand is what we are seeing now with the information coming out on Diddy and what he did and how he carried out his parties and what information he collected and what his interests were. There's no reason at all for us to think that that's unique. That's just one person in the music industry.
Yeah.
Imagine the film industry, pro sports industry, corporate oil industry, big tobacco industry. You name the industry, right? The rule of thumb at CIA is that every time you catch a mole, you have to assume there's two more. So when you catch a mole, a penetration inside your agency, when you catch a Robert Hansen, an Aldrich Ames, a Jerry Lee, you have to assume there's at least two more. Because the one that you got in, the one that was there, is the one that you caught. And the one that you caught, if whoever's handling them is running at least two so that they can always have informants about the other. So
I understand.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we caught one from the music industry, there's probably two more. And then if there are three in the music industry, it's probably three in the tobacco industry, probably three in the electric vehicles industry. There's probably three in the social media industry. There's probably three in the big alcohol, big beer industry, right? Like rich people are connected to other rich people. They have rich people problems, which average people can't even fucking conceptualize.
Yeah.
And to your government intelligence services, why would you talk to a normal fucking person with no value and no access and no network when you could always get your ass in front of a politician, a famous musician, an actor, a senior executive? Like, it's not hard to get in front of one of those people when you are an intelligence officer. And those people are guaranteed to have access to information that can be useful in your own endeavors to collect and manipulate and influence foreign countries, foreign elections, foreign media.
Yeah, no, look, points well taken. And that's interesting that's like the rule. They're putting in a law of three. So you got three dimensions automatically.
If you catch one, there's two there.
I mean, it's, Kanye West lost his fucking mind 2 years ago when he was saying all that shit. I don't know how much of that you saw, but it was like pretty fucking crazy. And like, I still can't even wrap my head around all the shit he said. However, in the middle of that frenzy, he was saying, because he had no filter on the situation. He was like, yo, it's up with Diddy. He was calling out other names too. And we were all like, what the fuck? He was like, Diddy, you fucking fed, shit like that. We're like, what the fuck is he talking about? And now, you're like, holy shit. And Cat Williams was another guy in 2023 saying, yo, 2024 is going to be a problem for some of these people. And you wonder how many, like, okay, if it's not intelligence related, the fucked up, triumvirate of people, if you will, and whatever is beyond that, you wonder how many guys have just known about this for so long, but, for whatever reason, they can't say anything about it. It's scary because you're right. And like, I feel like you've seen the worst of humanity in what you do. And that, I understand that drives how you think about human beings when you say things like human beings are horrible creatures. I don't agree with you, but I agree that there are aspects of humanity that are fucking dark, sadistic, and twisted in ways that our minds don't want to think about or talk about out loud at the office. I get that. But, you see stuff like this, and it's hard not to feel really resigned to that fact sometimes because it's just like I can't even fathom what these people do. And, like the fact that a Diddy could exist in the middle of all these people and people know what he does. No one says shit. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.